Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanubhishtam Purnam Radhadasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupamanjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha. Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismirahasar Murali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyaye Keshavasacha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramu, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradatama Shri Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Shila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudeva, and to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Shila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shri Rupando Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So we continue reading from Sri Gopi-gita, verse 17. Rahasya samvidam richayodayam prahasitananam prema vikshanam brihadura shriyo vikshadhamate muhurati spriha muhyate mana. O beloved Master, having seen you as you conversed intimately with us in secret places, your smiling face, which acts as a stimulus for our amorous desires, your glancing at us with love, and your expansive chest, which is the eternal resting place of the goddess of fortune, our hankering to meet with you has increased manifold, and our minds are repeatedly bewildered. So now in this verse, the gopis are glorifying three things, three aspects of Krishna, which are very important to understand. First is the intimate conversations that Krishna has with the gopis. This rahasya samvidam. And Krishna's smiling face, Krishna's glancing, and Krishna's expansive chest. These four things are very, very dear to the gopis. Very dear to the gopis. And that's what gopis are glorifying right now. So let us see Srila Gurudev's commentary, Bhava Prakashika Vritti. The apparent and most common meaning of this verse is given in its translation, but its deeper significance is explained in the Acharya's commentaries. In his commentary to the previous verse, means the verse 16, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the gopis telling Shri Krishna, "You are a cheater, and you have also been cheated. Where in the entire world is there a youth who is as cruel-hearted and merciless as you?" So just to remember, last verse, gopis told Krishna that when he's cheating them, he's also being cheated because he is preventing himself to have that association and to have the best of, best of all services that they can render to him. So the gopis continue. We teenage gopis are qualified, beautiful and sweet. We have come to you for our own accord, and yet you have neglected us. We previously thought of you as soft-hearted and magnanimous, but now we see that you have none of these good qualities. You are simply a cheater. We became bewildered by the song of your flute and have come here. You must have transferred all your bad qualities to us, and that is why we are now devoid of discrimination and intelligence. In particular, you possess 5 features, Kamadeva's 5 arrows, and you have used these arrows to pierce our hearts. As a result, we have lost our minds, our memories, and our intelligence, and we now find ourselves here. Those 5 arrows entered our hearts through our eyes and wounded us. Now our hearts are burning, and that is why we have come running here. You should free us from this pain. Your first arrow, the gopis explain, is the conversations we previously had with you in solitary places, Rahasya Samvida. In those conversations, you begged something from us, something we are reluctant to openly express. Actually, you begged us for our prema. Sometimes you begged through the song of your flute, and sometimes you directly expressed your prayers in words. Your second arrow is the kama in your heart, richayodayam. Upon seeing us, you became full of kama and hinted to us to meet with you, trying to persuade us with your entreaties. You showed us your heart, and we saw that it was full of desire to meet with us. When we saw your heart burning this way, we felt great piety for you and came running here to save you. And on account of seeing the desire in your heart, our own hearts became filled with such desires. We are now in the same condition as you. However, you should understand that we have not come here because of our own condition, but because of yours. By the word prahasitananam, the gopis refer to Shri Krishna's laughing and smiling. He wanted the gopis to meet with him, and by his laughing and smiling, he inspired in them his desire for kama. The gopis say, your third arrow is your smiling face. A flower can smile, but it cannot speak. On the other hand, your face not only smiles, but it tells us something. It begs for something with sidelong glances and laughter, which is your 4th arrow. So the 4th arrow is his sidelong glances. And so Vikshanam means sidelong glances, and Prema Vikshanam refers to Shri Krishna's glancing lovingly at the gopis from the corner of his eyes. He wants something from them and begs for it by his glance. And the gopis continue. And the 5th arrow is your broad chest. When they speak about Krishna's chest here, they really mean to say that we realized that your chest was burning with desire to meet with us. Your heart was pounding as you considered how to meet us. We know this from Lakshmi, who sits on your chest and in the form of a tuft of a golden hair. Seeing all this and realizing that every part of your heart is filled with longing to associate with us, we became bewildered and maddened with the desire to protect you and give you what we want. This mood is called Susakya Pranaya Bhava, and it's present only in Srimati Radhika, who cannot pray in the way that this verse is generally translated. Chandravali does not share Radhika's mood at all. Rather, her words and mood are found in the general meaning, in the translation. While the general meaning of the verse is also correct, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur has explained the verse in a particular way. This is because in his Siddha form as a Gopi, he is an associate of Sri Rupa Manjari, who is the leader of Srimati Radhika's intimate maidservants and is always serving and glorifying her moods. Not only is Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti very near and dear to Rupa Manjari, but he is said to be an incarnation of Srila Rupa Goswami, whose Gopi form is Sri Rupa Manjari. Thus, it is Radhika's mood that he expresses in his commentary. So it's very important to understand this point that in the general meaning of this verse, we have the mood of Chandravali, which is submissive mood, Dakshina Bhav. But the mood of Srimati Radhika is given only in the purport of Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, who is actually one incarnation of Srila Rupa Goswami. It means that he is able to speak directly as if he was Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. And by that, he is expressing directly the moods of Srimati Radhika with authority. In Vaishnava Toshani, Srila Jiva Goswami, who in his Siddha form as a Gopi is Sri Vilasa Manjari, another attendant of Sri Rupa Manjari, reveals the same sentiments as Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, but with some speciality. He explains that with the words Richayo Dayam and Muhyate Mana, the Gopis tell Shri Krishna, your glances, Vikshanam, tell us that the disease of Kama has arisen in your heart, and therefore you cannot sit peacefully. That is why you called us. We realized this, and being bewildered, we became here to give you relief from your disease. Rit means heart, Saya means disease of love, and Udaya means rising. So Krishna asks, how do you know that my heart is full of Kama? The gopis reply with the words Rahasi Samvidam, the solitary conversations, referring to their meeting with him before he disappeared, when he had confided something to them in a solitary place. There are so many ways to express one's ideas, by hints and by suggestions, by signs and symptoms, and by direct statements. Those who are expert in prema do not express their intentions directly, but with hints and suggestions. For example, when Vrinda Devi sees Krishna placing on his neck a garland made of yellow champaka flowers, she tells Srimati Radhika, Krishna told me to bring you to him. He wants to be garlanded on your neck, so please go to him at once. Another example is that when Krishna embraces a cow, it is to be understood that he has some other intention. The gopis had seen Krishna's love-laden glances. They had seen him looking at them with thirsty eyes, and now they tell him, you are thirsty. You wanted to drink nectar, and you looked towards us to fulfill that desire, though we had no need for it. You also showed us your chest, which is the abode of all kinds of beauty, because Sri Lakshmi Devi lives there. The sight of your chest caused us also to become full of desire. Two actions occur in this verse: having seen Krishna and the gopis' experience of a desire. The words Brihadurashriyo Viksha and Atispriha denote something very profound. Brihad indicates that Krishna's feeling is extremely deep, and with the words Urashriyo, the gopis imply, we can see what is in your heart. We feel it, and your face affirms it. If your heart is full of sorrow, your face expresses it. If you have great prema in your heart, your face reveals this. And if you're angry, your face shows that as well. It tells all. We looked at your face and understood that you have an intense desire, atispriha, for our association. Seeing this desire deep within your heart, we yearn to satisfy it. So the gopis, they can understand everything. And Krishna, he cannot hide from them anything. And if you remember the first shloka, the gopis are also telling Krishna that they did not have this desire, but Krishna put that desire in their hearts. And after that, they started feeling this attraction for Krishna. And now Krishna is coming just to satisfy that desire. But the gopis say, this is not our desire originally. This is all coming from you. You had desire and you put that in our heart. We manifested that, and now you have to come to satisfy, because now we have nothing to do. Now we become like, what to say, slave of this desire. We cannot escape of it. So it seems that the gopis are expressing their own desire and begging for it to be fulfilled. But this is the external meaning. According to the general meaning, the gopis are expressing their intense longing. They say, we want to be held to your breasts. Actually, they are seeing Krishna's atispriha, his yearning for them, and they consider, how is it that although Krishna is a male, he is so bewildered? He cannot control his feelings. He tries to attract us with his 5 arrows of Cupid, but he fails. We want to give him a remedy for the fire of his desire, but we become completely bewildered when we try to think of what to do. So the general meaning of this verse is that Krishna's broad chest is very captivating and is one of his arrows of Cupid. According to this meaning, the word Shriyo indicates that his chest is the center of all varieties of sweetness and beauty, in which case the gopis tell him, we saw your chest, and as a result we became bewildered. I have also explained the gopis' inner meaning. Krishna has a deep desire, atispriha. Having seen this, we have a great eagerness, atispriha, to protect him and fulfill that desire. So Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami both explained that muhyate mana has still another meaning. In the previous verse, the gopis told Krishna, first you called us, and then we came to you, neglecting the orders of our parents, husbands, and all other relatives. Patisutam vaya bhrati bandhavam. At that time, we saw the 5 arrows of Kamadeva in your possession, and we saw how those 5 arrows are actually you yourself. But now we see that those 5 arrows have practically brought you to the point of death. Because of your karma, you have come to the 10th and last stage, death. That is why we have come running here, bewildered with anxiety as to how to protect you. So here, gopis say that Krishna, he became a victim of his own arrows. He wants to inspire, kama and prema in the heart of the gopis, but finally he became also like a victim, and he's dying from that prema as well. In this way, the gopis, they want to serve Krishna in all ways. All these pastimes have several meanings and deep moods. There are many meanings of this verse that have not been discussed in the commentaries, but they cannot be disclosed. To disclose confidential subject matter in the presence of many persons is aptly expressed as breaking earthen pots in the midst of a marketplace where hundreds of thousands of persons are present. When confidential topics are spoken to an unqualified audience, the sprout of bhakti in their hearts of the audience is injured, and the result is chaos. In due course, after your sadhana and bhajan are matured, all details will automatically manifest within your heart. I have given you eyes to see the path required to realize these pastimes. Use them and think, and be blessed by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So beautiful how Gurudev is mercifully blessing us by the end of this chapter when he says that I have given you eyes to see the path required to realize these pastimes. Means to go beyond what I have written here. Now use them and think and be blessed by chanting. So through the chanting and through the remembrance of what Gurudev has given us, then something must come in our heart. This is Gurudev's blessing, this is Gurudev's promise. I know that whatever we are reading here, this is already too much. It's already too high. I feel like this for me is like an ocean of gigantic waves. I cannot, really swim them. But somehow or other, this is already available for us, and Gurudev wants us to at least, get this understood, and if possible, realized. And in future, if we do our job, if we do our homework, well, then even more things may also manifest in our hearts. So thus ends the 17th chapter. Now let's go for the 18th verse of Gopi-gita. Brajavanoukasam vyaktirangate brijinahantralam vishwamangalam tyajamanakchana stvatsprihatmanam swajanaridurujam yang nishudanam. O Krishna, your appearance completely destroys the sorrows of Braja's residents, and in every way brings auspiciousness to the world. Our hearts, which desire you alone, are agonized by our heart disease. Therefore, giving up all miserliness, kindly give in charity a little bit of that medicine which can cure your dear ones. So now in this verse, gopis are begging for the medicine. And Krishna, he's the expert doctor, and he has one very special medicine which can cure their disease of kama, and now they are begging for Krishna. Now this is such a state that both sides, Krishna and gopis, they are completely now desperated. It's coming to the end. It's coming to the conclusion of their meeting again, means their emotions are coming to a peak. And now both are unable to tolerate. So more and more things are getting intense. This 17th verse was very intense. The gopis were expressing like desperation, and they were all also telling that Krishna is becoming desperated. So now they're coming again very close to meet again, because they cannot tolerate such type of intense separation. For some time they can tolerate, but not forever. And they must come again together. It is happening very soon in the coming verses. So let us see the commentary of Srila Gurudeva Bhava Prakashika Vritti. In the previous verse, Srila Vishwanatha Chakrabarti Thakur explains that Kamadeva's 5 arrows are the gopis' confidential discussions with Krishna in solitary places, Rahasya Samvidam, the rising of transcendental desire in Krishna's heart, Richayodayam, his lotus face, when he is smiling in a very special way, Prahasitananam, his loving glances, Prema Vikshanam, and his broad chest, which is the abode of the goddess of fortune, Brihadura Shriyo Viksha. In that verse, the gopis told Krishna, we have seen these 5 symptoms in you, so we know that a desire burns in your heart. And Shri Krishna asked, how do you know? The gopis replied, we know this by our confidential discussions in solitary places, by your face smiling in a special way, and by your loving glances. That is why we have come here, to give you relief from your kama. We are bewildered in our concern and desire to pacify you and give you relief. The gopis continue to express this mood in the present verse, the common meaning of which is seen in the translation. In order to explore the deeper meaning, I will discuss the points in Sri Vaishnava Toshani by Srila Jiva Goswami Pad. Brajavano kasam vyaktirangate. One of the many meanings of the word vyakti is as follows. Your inner condition is manifest, vyakta, by these 5 symptoms. So we know that you are overwhelmed with kama to meet with us. When we see your desire, this inspires kama in our own hearts as well. For example, if there is a flood in a main river, all the tributaries that flow into the main river also flood. The flood spreads everywhere. Similarly, this flood of kama has entered your heart and made it burn. And when we recognize this by seeing its many symptoms, it also came into our hearts. Now we always have a burning sensation in our hearts, and we think, alas, how can we devise a way to pacify your continually inflamed kama? Our constant absorption in this immerses us in your mood. So now gopis, they become absorbed in Krishna's mood, right? They also get, flooded by that same kama. And the gopis further explain, a person will be influenced by the virtues of the people with whom he lives, and he will also be infected with their bad qualities. Similarly, the kama in your heart has infected our hearts, which are now always ablaze like yours. Your heart burns with the desire. How shall I get the association of the gopis? That's what Krishna thinks. And now our hearts burn with longing for you. Each of us burns for the other. And now that you are not here, we are searching for you to give you our association. Our love and affection automatically flows to you. It is our very nature to love you. And therefore, if any suffering comes to you, we have no peace until we can think of a way to remove it. While searching for you, we think, how can we reduce the burning of your kama? We have become excessively absorbed in this thought, and thus our affection has increased to such heights that our hearts are breaking in pieces. This and the next verse explain why the gopis' hearts are breaking, simultaneously with love and sorrow. The gopis tell Krishna, we cannot do anything to help you, because you are not here to meet with us. And they beseech him to appear before them. O Anga, O beloved, this form of address is full of love and affection. It means when gopis call Krishna Anga. The gopis are also experiencing an intense feeling of separation and also profound humility. And for these reasons, they do not address Krishna by his name. At other times and in other places, they call him Mukunda and also Krishna. And other names such as Devaki Sutta, Yashoda Sutta, Brajendra Nandana, and Brajendra Sutta. And sometimes they call him Kamsari or Aghari. But here, they simply address him as their beloved Anga. The word anga actually refers to one's own hand or other limb, so they are singing. You are part of our body. If a limb is hurt, we tend to hold it close to our body. In this mood, the gopis are saying, you are our anga, so we want to keep you close to us. And they continue. Your appearance in this world is only for the Brajavasis, the cowherd community, and for the Vanavasis, those who live in the forest. The words Brajavanokasam refer not only to men and women, but also to cows, buffaloes, peacocks, monkeys. Indeed, all creatures are included. Krishna's appearance is not only to vanquish the sorrow of all the Brajavasis and the forest dwellers. It is the very form of auspiciousness, because he has appeared for the purpose of engaging in the sportive pastimes with both the Brajavasis and the forest dwellers, laughing with them and satisfying them in every respect. In this way, his appearance is for two purposes: to relieve distress and to give happiness to the gopis and everyone else. The gopis say, your appearance is auspicious for the entire universe, Vishwa Mangalam. It is true that you have appeared to take away everyone's distress and to give everyone's happiness. But this is especially for those who live in the forests, more especially for the Brajavasis, and most especially for us, who are here hankering for you. We long to give you relief from the disease of Kama in your heart. We want to please you by singing and dancing, by giving you flowers, garlands, and by doing anything else to make you happy. When we perform these services for you, we also be so happy. Next one, Brijina Hantralam Vishwa Mangalam. The word alam, meaning enough, is used as an adverb to qualify both Brijina Hantri and Vishwa Mangalam. Thus, Krishna's appearance is sufficient to destroy distress, Brijina Hantri, and to bring auspiciousness to the entire world, Vishwa Mangalam. In that case, the meaning is, in the entire world, the Brajavasis are special, and amongst the Brajavasis, we gopis are special. Now we have come here, so kindly remove our sorrows and agony and the raging fire of our Kama. Next verse. Tyaja manak chanas tvatsprihat manam. The gopis say, please give us something that can relieve our sorrow and the burning in our hearts. They refer to something, but they do not specify what that something is. And Krishna may say, you live in Vrindavan, in Braja, and when the demons create some calamity, I will kill them and give relief to all the Brajavasis. That naturally includes you, so why are you making a separate case for yourselves? You are already being cared for, so why are you speaking like this? So Krishna expressed his desire. You should say clearly and openly what you want. The words clearly and openly are not written in the Acharya's commentaries, but I am explaining their words. I am taking very good water from the well, is what Srila Gurudev says. It means Srila Gurudev is complimenting even deeper. Means Krishna wants gopis to speak clear and openly. What do you want? What is that something that you are asking for? Next line. Nastvat sprihat manam. Naha means we, all of us gopis, and spriha means hankering. So Krishna asked the gopis, what are you hankering for? And gopis reply, you are so beloved to us to the extreme extent, and therefore we are always thinking about you and how we can make you happy. This is our soul's desire. We cannot be satisfied unless we can see you. We want you very close to us at all times, because otherwise we cannot satisfy you. We want you only, you alone. Nothing else can give us relief. Our only unhappiness is that we are not satisfying you. So it's so beautiful how gopis, they are actually conditioning their own satisfaction to the satisfaction of Krishna. So when gopis say that Krishna must satisfy their desire means to allow them to satisfy Krishna's desire. This is very beautiful. So the gopis suppose that Krishna might say, all the Brajavasis have love and affection for me. They always pray to God and to all other great personalities to please make Krishna happy. What is the difference between you and all the other Brajavasis? They all want to see me near and near them. They all want to please me. So what is the difference between you and them? What more do you want? Now Krishna is a little bit like challenging them. And the gopis have kept their desire hidden in their hearts. Krishna wants to see openly, but it cannot be seen openly. The gopis say, the point is that we are not only Brajavasis. Then who are you? Krishna is asking. Swajana Ridrujam. Swa means one's own. And the gopis say, you are a Gopa and we are gopis. You are the son of Nanda Baba and we are the daughters of Vrishabhanu Baba and all the other Gopas. We are so near and dear to you that the other Brajavasis cannot be compared to us. We are yours and you are ours. You are our life, Jana. We cannot live without you, just as a body cannot live without consciousness. This is not the case for all the Brajavasis. When Shri Krishna went to Mathura and Dwarka, all the Brajavasis wept in separation, but they could not feel what the gopis felt. They did not come to the brink of death as the gopis did. When Krishna sent Uddhav to Braj, this was especially for the gopis. Shri Krishna is now pressing them to disclose their specific desire. Therefore, they express it to some extent, but then cover it again, without revealing it clearly. They say plaintively, we have a heart disease. You are a very expert doctor, so please give us some remedy to counteract and remove it. Yam Nishudanam. If a sick person comes to a doctor and says, I have terrible pain here, he will not tell the doctor what medicine to prescribe. The doctor has to select the medicine according to his own diagnosis. If the patient demands a particular medication, the doctor will be angry at his arrogance, for he is not trained to know what medicine is needed. Accordingly, the gopis tell Krishna, you know what medicine to give us. We know that you know. So give us just a very little manak of that medicine that will alleviate our heart disease, Kamaroga. In the form of Vamanadeva, Shri Krishna once went to Bali Maharaj and said, I am only asking for 3 paces of land, the measurement of my steps. Laughing, Bali Maharaj replied, why are you asking for only 3 steps of land? You can take a kingdom or something else of value. You can have many beautiful Brahmana ladies as wives. I can give you elephants, horses, and vast wealth. Why do you ask for only this much? Lord Vamanadeva replied, I am a Brahmana boy. I am completely satisfied in all respects, internally and externally. I do not require anything. In the end, however, he took everything away from Bali. A beggar may approach someone and create sympathy by saying, just give me a little something. But actually, he does not intend to take just a little. In the same way, the gopis say, give us something, just a little. However, this is not their real desire. They do not really think that a little will do. The word Ridrujam, referring to the heart disease of the gopis, is a plural noun. There are millions of gopis. If only a drop of medicine is given to millions of gopis, none of them will be able to have even a trace of it. You do not even touch them. Now the gopis are thinking, the inferno in our hearts, inferno means like hell, in our hearts is raging so fiercely that all the water in the world will not be able to put it out. If a dangerous fire is burning and just a little water is put on it, the water works like ghee, making the flames flare still higher. So the fire in our hearts is like that. The gopis' desire is this: Krishna should always be with us so that we can always serve him. It's very beautiful. Now this example gopis are giving is very interesting and has something of like science as well. Perhaps many people don't know, but the fuel of the sun is water. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that actually water feeds the sun. When you have so much fire and a little of water, the high pressure of the fire breaks up the molecules of water, H2O, and then it becomes flammable. That hydrogen and that oxygen, they become flammable because they become divided. They're no longer water, they're just gas, and they just burn. So in the same way, gopis are saying here that actually we are asking for a little of medicine, but this type of medicine, it may actually increase our disease if it's just a little. So it has to be a lot of medicine. Just as if you sprinkle some water in the fire, it works like a ghee. It will feed the fire, it will increase the fire. Little bit of ghee in fire increases it. A lot of ghee will also shuts down the fire. So now in the same way, Krishna is like again breaking Gopi's argument. He's understanding that a little we will not do. And the gopis also, they are somehow coming to the point that look, although we are asking for a little, we know that it's not going to work at all. So the only solution is that you should be with us always. Because a little means a little bit of Krishna's association, a little bit of Krishna's time with them. But that cannot help. That will only increase. So the only way to pacify the gopis is if Krishna stay with them all the time. So now continue reading here. The last words of this verse are yam nishudanam. Suddhana in the word nishudanam means to remove, and ni refers to nishesha rupa. The word nishesha indicates forever and implies fully, so that which is removed does not return. The gopis tell Krishna, please give us a remedy that will fully destroy our distress, and be sure to give plenty of it, because there are millions of gopis. And this fire of kama in all of our hearts must be extinguished forever. If you only give a little, it will work like ghee, and the burning will increase. Actually, we know the answer for that. No matter how much Krishna will give, that fire will never stop. That fire never stop. Srila Jiva Goswami infers that the gopis' heart disease has two aspects. The first is its symptoms, and the second is the disease itself. For example, if someone has a cold, the symptoms are that water comes from the nose, there is thick mucus, and there may be a severe headache and fever as well. The second aspect is the disease itself. The gopis tell Krishna, we want you to remove both aspects of the disease. A qualified doctor gives one medicine which dispels both the symptoms and the root of the symptoms. What are the symptoms of your heart disease? Burning. We are always burning. Means Krishna is asking the gopis, what are the symptoms of your heart disease? Now he's like checking them, going for diagnosis. And gopis, they say, burning. We are always thinking of your happiness. We cannot live in our homes, and we are greatly distressed. We are always restless. We have no peace at all. These symptoms should be removed. How will they be removed? Krishna is asking. You should give us some antidote in a sufficient quantity. Otherwise, the disease will continue to return in ever new ways. In other words, if there is still some disease remaining, it will continue to manifest itself in many different features. The symptoms will continue and we will suffer in newer and newer ways. Although the gopis are not expressing their mood openly, they are in fact saying, even though we have only prayed for a little, you should give the medicine in plenty. Srila Jiva Goswami has not said clearly what medicine should be given. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur has given some explanation, and you can read that for yourselves. I am presenting only a part of his commentary. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur expresses the subject matter somewhat more openly, whereas Srila Jiva Goswami speaks in a more covered way. According to Sarartha Darshini, the gopis say, we are innocent, newly married ladies, and without offense. With your flute song, you have stolen our mind and intelligence, our patience, and our religious principles. You took everything we had, and we became like mad persons. You called us on this very night, and we came here. But then you told us to go away. At that time, our eagerness intensified as we asked ourselves, will Krishna say, stay, instead of telling us to leave and return to our homes? The gopis are thinking that perhaps Krishna acted as he did to increase their eagerness, and therefore they tell him, we are burning in the fire of intense longing. It was you who set that eagerness ablaze, and then suddenly you went out for our sight. Still, we know that you are our beloved, and we are your beloveds. So you must not have intended to give us this suffering. Surely you must have wanted to give us your intimate association. We know this because your birth is auspicious for the entire world. And for all the people in the world, it is especially true for the Brajavasis. Among the Brajavasis, it is especially true for the among the Brajavasis, it is especially for the Gopas and Gopis. And amongst them, it is especially for the Gopis. We know that although you have come for all, you have come specially for us. We know that you are longing to see us. And that is why you called us tonight by your flute song. Hearing that you are distressed by the burning in your heart, we have come to relieve you. But we also want something for yourself, for ourselves. First pay us our fee, then we will examine you. And then he will give you some medicine. Now the gopis, they reverse the role. Now gopis, they want to become Krishna's doctor. So they say, first pay us our fee, pay your admission fee. Then we will examine you. And then we will give you some medicine. We are not mere third-class doctors. We are highly qualified doctors. So quickly pay us. You can give anything, whatever you have. Perhaps you are too poor to pay. Still, you should offer some payment to demonstrate the sincerity of your desire to be treated. We want to mitigate your heart disease of kama. But first, you should give up your miserliness. Yes, very good, Krishna says. What should I give you? Tell me openly what you want. So again, Krishna, he is put in such a position that he should ask what gopis want. Before, gopis was asking for medicine. Now they're asking for payment to be treated by them. Now, it is what gopis say. Swajana ridrujam yam nishudanam. You have the heart disease of kama, and that disease has entered our hearts as well. So you should give us some medicine that will reduce it. What is that medicine? Krishna is asking. A medicine that will give us some relief. But what do you want specifically? And gopis say, put your hands on our hearts. Now they come to the point of something. In matters of prema, it is inappropriate to speak in a direct manner. For example, it would not be proper to say, "You have brought sweets and many other delicious preparations for you to eat. You told us to bring them, so please enjoy them." Similarly, in matters of prema, if one says, "Oh, I love you so much, I would die without you," one's prema is diminished. Therefore, this spirit should be kept hidden. If a person's love is of the highest quality, he will keep his love and affection concealed. If it is expressed directly, it will disappear. Why then have the gopis said, "You have come in your heart, and we have come to pacify you"? Perhaps there is some hidden mystery here. But what is that mystery? It seems that they are expressing themselves openly, but actually they are hiding their feelings and desires. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti has explained something of their feelings for the sole purpose of enhancing the prema in the hearts of his readers. Actually, the gopis cannot express their hearts openly. Their words, as explained by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, are not in the verses. They have either kept their real feelings hidden, or they have expressed themselves in a joking way. Even then, only bold and outspoken gopis can express these words. For example, Lalita is prakara, means outspoken, but Srimati Radhika is not. Radhika, she is madhya, she is moderate, so she cannot directly express her intentions. Vishaka is also madhya, but she is mridvi, she is pliant at the same time. Lalita is prakara to the extreme extent, so she can even punish Krishna. She can say harsh things, especially when angry. Somehow we should be able to reconcile all these varieties of statements by the gopis. So here, the gopis are not expressing their real desire directly and openly. Everything has been told, but at the same time, everything is still very covered and concealed. When the gopis tell Krishna, "Place your hands on our breasts," this is not the meaning. In the verse beginning, "Yate sujata charanam buruham," please place your lotus feet on our breasts, the gopis' real desire is still hidden, for they cannot speak directly. So it's very interesting to understand what Gurudev is explaining here, is that Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, in order to make the readers understand, he recreates some dialogues. So many of the dialogues being put here by Srila Gurudev, they were created by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. But the actual song of the gopis, or whatever the gopis spoke, that was not in the same way. That was not directly, that was not opened. Neither Srila Jiva Goswami nor Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur is fully revealing the gopis' moods. A person can only realize their moods by performing the topmost Raganuga Bhajan sadhan. But even then, he will be shy. He will keep his intimate realization in his heart, thinking, "My ears cannot hear this." All the acharyas and Goswamis in our disciplic succession have instructed us not to disclose these topics. And I also do not want to speak much in this regard. I am therefore explaining the topic briefly. That is enough for now. And I'm not going to disclose anymore. For a sadhaka who is still unripe in his bhakti should not hear more. As Srila Jiva Goswami has said, I will not say more than this. A bhakta should perform sadhana and hari bhajan, and he will realize everything automatically. So thus ends the 18th chapter, the 18th verse of Sri Gopi-gita. Hare Krishna.